Okay, here we go. So this is lesson 2, where we're looking at inputting numbers into spreadsheets. Last time we did text, this time we're doing number. So if I just share my screen here with you. Okay, here we go. Right, so this is the same spreadsheet that I had the last time, which is my income statement. Now, just so you know, an income statement in Britain is also known as a profit and loss account. In Scotland, for our high school exams, our governing body, the SQA, Scottish Qualifications Authority, use the term income statement and profit for the year. So I'm constantly telling my students, okay, this is also known as a profit and loss account, and this is our net profit down here. The nice thing is, depending on where you are, in what country, you know, I've got inventory in here rather than stock. It caters to both, but just, again, so you're aware, it's the same thing. If you've been learning about profit and loss statements for AAT or CIMA or whoever it is you're working through, it's the same thing, okay? Right, so first and foremost, let's insert some numbers in here. So when we click on a cell, the cell is J5, remember? It's automatically in general, and we can just type numbers in, hunky-dory. We can also type in on top of other numbers, okay, or other data, we'll call it, and hold down Control and press Z to undo to bring us back again. We can format these just as we did before, so I can change my color. What's a nice color? Okay, that's not bad. We can change our background color. Now this is going to be a bit different. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Oh, didn't work. There we go. We can change our font. What shall I use today? Amaranth? Yeah. I think that's one I was on. That's why I liked it. Trying to find something just different enough. There we go. A bit more old-fashioned, a bit smaller to read. So we can change our font size here. Notice the row height changed with that automatically. And we can change, let me go down a wee bit so you can see, we can change our alignment, where things sit. Now, most of the time when we're using numbers, we want our numbers sitting on the right-hand side. Because as we move further away from the decimal point in terms of place value, so units or ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, etc., we are working from the right-hand side backwards. Okay, so when you will see here, if you look at all my X's, which are just placeholders for numbers at the minute, they're all aligned to the right-hand side. If this was a table, maybe I'm creating a table for parents, and I'm looking at, maybe I'm putting times in the table or something like that, I would probably center it rather than put it to the right-hand side. But for accounting purposes, especially since that's my background as business, we want things to be readable and very quickly. So we want all our columns lined up just so, and I'm sure maths are the same, okay? So we will take it from the right-hand side. Speaking of which, with our titles up here, you will see that these are all on the right-hand side as well. Now, let me talk you through those. If I just type, change the box into a normal cell, okay, so a general cell, and I use my pound sign because I'm in Britain, 1, 2, 3, to say that everything in this column is going to be thousands of pounds. It changes it automatically. If you click back up, it says, oh, you've used a pound sign. We want currency. It's moved it. If things weren't on the right-hand side before, I forgot to check it out. I think they will be, because I've probably changed everything up here already. But if they were on the left-hand side, the currency would automatically move it to the right-hand side. But it didn't give us our 3 zeros, so that's not very helpful. To change this, I'm going to click on my cell type, go down to text. Okay, now we're back at the left-hand side because the text starts, because we're looking at the English language, starts at the left-hand side and works its way to the right. We need to type everything in again. So pound sign, 3 zeros. Now we've got the right information there. It's just sitting at the wrong side, so we'll change our alignment. And the final thing we see here is a border. It's not an underline. If I click over here and use my underline, you can see you can still underline. I don't know why we want to do this, but we can still underline our data in there. We don't want to do that here, so I'm going to click back on. Just take that off again. For a title of, in this case, a particular part of my income statement, I would use the underline. But for my column headers, my column titles, I want the line to take up the whole width of the column because my numbers could possibly take up the whole width of that column if my business is doing well enough. So my borders are up here. So we've got bold, italicize, underline, and then all my borders. Now, normally, when you come into Excel or your spreadsheet, it's sitting actually with the bottom border there as your first option, okay? I've been playing about with my spreadsheet, so it's sitting on a blank one. Now, we can't see it yet because we've got our green border around our cell. The green border is dragging our eyes to that cell to say, this is the active cell, this is the cell you're working on. We need to click into a different cell, doesn't matter where it is, to see any borders that we have put around it. Okay, I'll go more into borders in just a moment or two. From here, we want to copy this into the next two cells because we want three columns here. There are two ways to copy cells across. The first way, the easiest way, and the one I use most of the time, it's not going to work here, but I'm going to show you how to do it, is I've got my cursor as my fat little cross there, and I'm going to take my cursor up to this bottom little green square, and it changes into a thin cross. Now I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag it two places to the right. Okay, but I want to point, you'll see at the bottom, the digits change from £1 to £2. Okay, it's using AI saying, hey, you want to go up in numbers, that's great. Sometimes when we're creating dates, months, just putting things in an order like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As we head down our cells, using that, copying down the cells, it will give us the next available number, the next available month in that order. In this case, we don't want that. We want everything to stay as zeros. There's two ways to fix this. We can double click down here. Oh, I've clicked in the middle, so I'm going to use my little DEL, delete key, and put my 0 in. Or I can click up on my formula bar here and just change it to 0 and press enter there. The other way, and I'm going to Control and Z back, there we go. Because I know that is an issue here, how I would prefer to do this is simply copy and paste. So hold down Control, tap C for copy. Now we've got our dotted outline to say this is what you're copying. I would like it in 2 cells, please. So I'm going to, to do that, I left clicked on the first cell and just held down the left click and dragged it over, and then press enter. By pressing enter, the dotted line goes away and says we're done copying. Thanks very much. The other thing we can do is we can move cells about the place. So if I wanted to move these 3 cells, there we go, 1, 2, 3. Okay, using my mouse again, and I'm going to left click. I want to drag my mouse up to the green bar. So instead of it being a fat cross as it is at the minute, it's going to look more like a compass. So we can see the arrows there. Now I can move them wherever I like. Okay, so I'll just pop them up here. Or I can move them individually if I wanted. Okay. I don't actually need these, so I'm just going to delete each of my... Oh, do you know what I could do? Let me show you that, come to think of it. Let's bring everything back together. I could just clear the content. So I'm going to click and drag everything I don't want to see. And it's not that I want to hide it. I don't need it. It can go, it can disappear. So I've clicked on more than the cells that I need here. You might just want to click on the cells, the individual cells you want. If you did, hold down Control and click the other cells that you're looking for. Okay. Now I'm going to right click with the mouse and clear contents about halfway down. We'll take away all the data that's in there. It has left my paint box, so I'm going to say no fill there. And then these 3 guys, I'm going to go back up to my borders drop down and say no border. There we go. Okay, now, the next thing I would like to do is, let's put in some numbers again across here. And returns won't be that much. Okay, now, I had a formula in cell G9 already, and I'll go into that in the next lesson. They're really easy to do and absolutely worthwhile, which I will go into then. Okay. When we're doing accounting, like I said before, we want things very easy to see, and we want to translate those numbers into words as we speak very quickly. We might be speaking to teachers or parents. We might be speaking to siblings or children. Or out in the business world, we might be speaking to bank managers, shareholders, partners, someone from the government who's auditing us. Okay. So as we're speaking, and we're trying to put our best foot forward, probably be nervous at the same time. We want everything to translate in our brains as quickly as possible. So what we want to add in here is some commas. This time I'm just going to highlight these 3 cells, but normally I would probably highlight everything. In actual fact, I will do that. I'll highlight the 3 columns, and I'm going to use the commas up here. Okay, and it's put in the commas in between the hundreds and the thousands. Brilliant. Which, of course, because I've got the zeros at the top, that's millions and hundreds of thousands. Isn't it? Now I'm questioning myself. No, millions and thousands. There we go. But the only thing is, it's giving me decimal points here. Now, again, when we're doing, remember, this is a template for students who are in grade 11 or A-level or higher, advanced high level, accounting and bookkeeping. We are not really going to see decimal places here. If we see decimal places, we've probably done something wrong. With one exception, and that's percentages, because a decimal point of a percentage, like 0.5%, 0.04 of a percent, can be literally thousands, even millions or trillions of pounds, which is why, just to bring in a little bit of economics for you, we see the inflation figure or the growth figure for a country given to 2 decimal points normally. Sometimes it's 3 decimal points if they want to be more exact. In other words, if there's been only a small amount of growth. Right, so here we want to get rid of these extra decimals because they're all zeros. Up in the number section in our ribbon, we have got decimal points with 2 different arrows. Now beware, Excel and Google Sheets do this in different orders. In Excel, we want to say move our place values towards move the decimal point towards the border. Okay, in Google Sheets is the other way around, and I get that modelled up all the time when I'm in Google Sheets. It took me a while to realise what the problem was, and it's only when I focused on Excel and that's my reason. So if I click on this twice, it will bring everything back to just pounds. Now, if you were in maths, possibly geography as well, you are actually going to want more than 2 digits after your decimal place. So we can just keep adding the opposite way, okay, and moving our decimal point further to the left-hand side. Since I'm back in accounting, let's bring this down. There we go. Anything else? Yes. Let's say I am writing a newsletter to parents, or maybe it's a field trip. So I'm giving them information about what time they have to be at a certain place, and maybe there's different groups going to different places, how much the trip will cost, and a total there, or photographs. You see a lot with the photographs, the school photos, and you have to fill out a little form there. If that's the case, I will probably just use, let's say, £55, okay? It may well be in the centre. It might be at the edge, depending on the company or depending on the purpose of my document. But the next thing I want to do, I'm actually going to move it back. I'm being very pedantic here. I'm going to click on my currency button. So it's a little note and the coins, and it brings up the, in my case, pennies automatically, and it's always to 2 decimal points. And we've got accounting rather than currency written up here. Remember earlier we just had the pound sign where we typed it in and no zeros afterwards. That was currency. This time, because I've clicked on this area, it's saying, you want accounting. And the reason for that is, let's change all of these. If I put in £15 and 6, okay, you'll notice all my columns stay the same. Whereas, let's do the same. I'm just checking them in general. £55, £15 and £6. Okay, my pound sign moves. Okay, so it's interfering with my columns here. It wouldn't, for formula purposes, it wouldn't interfere with that. But for our reading and making things as readable as quickly as possible, that does make a difference. Okay, I'm just going to clear these. Okay, there was something else I was going to say. Yes, I know what it was. I might want, in fact, let's leave it there. I might want to change my currency. So the automatic currency is wherever you bought your program. I bought this in Scotland, so I've got pound signs. I lived in Canada for 10 years. So my iPad's from Canada, that automatically goes to dollar signs, and it doesn't say US either, it says Canadian. If I was doing work, say, for somebody in France, I would want a euro sign. So we can change it up here, and there will be more. There's more accounting formats down here. So there'll be yen and, oh, I'm not going to embarrass myself because I won't be able to remember all the different currencies around the world. My son will shoot me later for that one. Back to here. Anything else? Borders is the last thing I want to go through. So But you know, let's just copy this so I can show you some stuff here. Right, there we go. With the borders, as you can see, we've done the bottom border. Down here, I've got a double underline. Okay, and the double underline in accounting, and presumably in math as well, is like an equal sign. It means we're done. We're finished this part. Now, for anyone who's any good at accounting, etc., you will see I've got dividends up here. So this is obviously for a PLC, and we've got a section later on in the profit and loss account that we still need to do. But where I was starting with my hires is just a template that they needed with all the basic stuff in it. Okay, so we were finishing the income statement or net or profit and loss account at that point. So over here, let's just do this. Let's put a total column down here. So I want top and bottom with the double border just at the bottom. So I could add these up. I'm not going to do that just now because I'm going to show you that in the next lesson. We could just have an outside border. In fact, I'll do it around all of these guys. And we can make it either just the same style of border. Notice it's taken away my bottom underline. I would need to go back in there and put that back on again. Or I could have a thick border. And the reason we want that is almost like framing the information there. It's dragging our eye, even if we screenshot it and put it somewhere else, or shared the document with somebody, our eye is being dragged to this area by the thick borders. Okay. Another thing we can do is we can have all borders showing. And again, if I'm screenshotting or copying and pasting this in, I might not want the faint cells. I might want the actual cells to stand out. So again, to make it more readable in that setting. So I could have all of them. For me, there are two ways to get rid of this. First of all, you've seen this already. We could go back to no borders, or just click up here. We've got an eraser or rubber where we could just click on the actual sides. I want that side actually that we don't want. And I'm not rubbing it out like I would at school. Bum, bum, bum. Let's get rid of you guys. Don't need you. Okay, slightly more time consuming. But the reason it would help is if it's in something like this template here, I might forget where my lines actually are, where they were before, and I don't want to undo. Let's just put this back to no borders now. Okay, and in actual fact, there we go, lovely. I'll leave that there till next time because we'll look at calculations and formulas in the next lesson. So we have done, I've got a little list here. Number formatting, we've input numbers, we've put the commas in, we've put decimal points in, we've changed currency, we've added borders, and we've double checked on our alignments, our fonts, our formatting in terms of color and bold, etc. And I think that's everything we did. And of course, we moved cells about, cleared contents, and took away the borders as well. So there's lots in there. As we get further into this free course, you will find there are exercises for you to practice on. Okay, I think I might just put up this basic income statement so you can play about with it. You don't have to worry about the numbers too much. So I'll do that shortly for you, and that will be there waiting. If you are interested in any of our courses, we run a summer course for budgeting. It's only 4 days a week, and in those days, it's only 4 hours. You can watch them at any point you like. They go live at 10 o'clock in the morning, depending on which week you are in. So our first week is in 2 weeks' time. It's June at the minute. Yeah, 2 weeks' time. And our budgeting courses go live at 10 a.m. But let's say you're at work or you're at school, especially if you're in England, you might not be able to access it at that time. You can access it later on in the day. You can still ask me questions, and I will come back to those questions the next day, and you will find your answers both there in Teams, because I use Teams to give feedback, but also in the next lesson. I won't say your name, so don't worry, you don't need to be embarrassed about that. Chances are no one person asked a similar type of question, so everybody's getting feedback, okay? The other thing you will find by the end of this week is there'll be some quizzes up for you as well. So you can try all our different types of lessons that we have available here. Our courses include accounting, economics, budgeting for summer courses, budgeting, economics, let's see, business management, entrepreneurship, and then different styles of writing, whether that's story writing, report writing or essay writing, and even assignments. The assignment course will disappear for a while after the summer and then come back when our assignments are due in sort of January to March time, okay? There'll be short courses then. If you do purchase one of our courses, the videos will be available for a whole year before they get taken down. And of course, the feedback given in that time will also be available for a year. But after the course is finished, so each of my courses lasts a week throughout the summer, there will be no more feedback after that. So you want to be doing it each day so that you get your questions answered. Anything else I need to tell you about? And then in the autumn or the fall, there will be longer courses available. There'll be 6-week courses and there will be month-to-month tutoring. So once a week, we will have a class where we're getting tutored on business management, accounting, economics. Not just the 3, but at 3 different levels. So Nat 5/GCSE, for those in America and Canada, that's grade 10 or grade 9 and 10. Then we have higher, which is the first year of A-level, and advanced higher, which is the second year of A-level. So again, for those in North America, that is grade 11 and grade 12. Okay, all of these are available on our website, so go and have a look and carry on learning about Excel here. Other free courses that are going to go up are all about the rest of the Microsoft suite. So we'll have Word, we'll have PowerPoint, and we will have, what else am I missing? Access, okay? And we'll take you from 0 to hero, basically, on each of them. And we'll get to some really complicated but really fun stuff. Okay, looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Bye-bye now.